Be the Lead Reader is an approach to reading that allows students to make sense of more challenging texts with teacher scaffolding, frequent processing, and peer support. We regularly select text carefully, read text closely, lead a pre-reading ritual, gradually release the reading to students, guide students to process each chunk, and refocus and reconnect after reading. I'm Raven Lightsey, an elementary teacher development specialist in the Houston Independent School District. I will model the literacy routine, Be the Lead Reader. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Marcy.
All right, today we're going to read about energy. We've been learning about different forms of energy, but today we're going to do some reading. The first thing I think about when choosing a text is whether or not the content is aligned to what I'm teaching. The next thing I think about is the complexity of the text, if my students will be able to read it independently. After that, I start thinking about whether or not the text has natural stopping points, if it can be chunked. And finally, if the text has academic vocabulary that I want my students to use. I have some statements up here on our anticipation guide about energy. Before reading, the first thing I do is assess my students' prior knowledge. In this case, we did that with an anticipation guide. I heard lots of good conversation. So you guys have shared with me what you think about these statements on energy. So now it's time for us to get ready to read. Now, before we start, always skim the passage first. The next thing I do is have students skim the text for two reasons. First, to make a prediction about what they're going to read, and second, to highlight any unknown or difficult vocabulary so that I can preview it with them. Has everybody finished skimming the passage?
Yes.
All right, great, perfect. So raise your hand if you found some words that we need to go over. Bazaria?
Stationary.
Stationary, that's a great word. Did anyone else circle stationary? Oh, okay, so we had some other folks who've never seen that word before. Stationary means to stay in one place. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm being stationary. Am I still being stationary right now? Previewing the vocabulary is not a full lesson. It's an opportunity to quickly front load any unknown or challenging words from the text. Okay, so now that you guys have skimmed our passage and given me the words that were difficult for you, let's take a look at some other words that you're going to see in our reading today. I'm going to read the word, you're going to say the word after me, okay? Energy.
Energy.
Convert.
Convert.
Kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy.
And potential energy.
Potential energy.
Perfect. Then I set a purpose for reading by posing a guiding question. Now we've kind of set the stage. We've skimmed our passage. We've looked at some vocabulary we're going to see. Now I want you to turn and talk to your partner just about what you think this article is going to be about. Give me 5. Perfect. Now we're going to start. I'm going to read first and you're going to follow along as I read. Now, as I'm reading, what I want you to think about is how the author defines energy. Now, we talked with each other about what we think energy is. You guys have already written your own definitions about energy. But while you're reading, I only want you to think about what does the author call energy and maybe how it is the same or different from your definition. What is energy? What do you know about energy? During reading, I gradually release the text to my students. First, I read and set a purpose for listening. So let's pause right there. Take a look at your note-taking guide, and I want you to think about what is energy? How does the author define energy? Take a moment and update your notes based on what we read. Now, I read the first page. You all are going to work together to read the second page. Now, let me tell you how we're going to set this up. If you are partner A, raise your hand real quick. Thank you. I see all my partner A's. Where are my B's? Thank you so much. So partner A, you are reading sentences
1 through 4.
Perfect. Partner B, you're reading
5 through 8.
Okay, and you are reading to each other. Remember, we are reading like fluent readers, right? With expression, correct? Then the students read with each other and discuss what they've read. Our time is up. If you're still writing, go ahead and finish up your notes. Now, who can tell me what you learned from our reading about potential energy? Potential energy is what kind of energy, Devondre?
Potential energy is stored energy.
Perfect. Now that I did some reading, we read together, what do you think is going to happen next, Eduardo?
We're going to read more about kinetic.
We are going to read a little bit more about kinetic energy, and you are going to read this by yourself. You're going to read this independently. Now, what I want you to think about as you're reading this last page by yourself is, how are potential and kinetic energy the same, and how are they different? Go ahead and turn your note-taking guide to the second page. It's on back of the first one. And what kind of diagram do you see there? There's a Venn diagram, and we use that to do what? Thank you so much. Finally, students read independently and they're able to share out what they've learned from the text. All right, so you guys have your own Venn diagrams. Now I want you all to have an opportunity to kind of share what you wrote in your notes about the differences between kinetic and potential energy. I help students process the text by chunking it. For each section, I provide guiding questions and I plan how students are going to interact, either in writing or through oral discussions. In this case, students had the opportunity to discuss what they read with a partner and also take notes on a note-taking tool. So we've had a chance to read about energy like we set out to do at the beginning. We've written about what we've read. We've had a chance to talk about it. You guys have completed your Venn diagrams to compare and contrast the two different types of energy. So now, after reading, students have a chance to apply what they've learned and reconnect to our purpose for reading. In this lesson, we revisited the anticipation guide. This was a great discussion with you all, so I want you to imagine this as we get ready to do your exit ticket for the day. Then, students completed an open-ended task that required them to apply what they had learned about kinetic and potential energy.
Potential energy is the energy an object has because of its condition or persistence.
Perfect. Well, you guys did a great job reading today, and thank you so much.